let me share. Okay, let me share. Okay, this one will help your FYP report also. So just a reminder when you write your literature review section. But this one will be focusing on the literature review strategy and also the body part. So I'll just give you some answer for all these questions. So for example, what is literature review? Why is it important? And what are the approach that you can use to prepare for your literature review when you do your reading? And what are the key components when you write a review? Okay. And what are the available literature sources that we are looking for? Right. So I think most of this you already know already. So just a sharing of information and add on to what you know. Okay. And what are the normal methods we use when we go for keyword search in the literature database? And what mean by relevance and sufficient for a good report? Okay, so we will answer all these questions in this 30 minutes presentation. Okay, so just a quick one. Literature review is just a published work that things that people already done and then they put on the paper so that you can repeat the experiment or you can gain some knowledges about that particular subject. Okay. Some you refer to books and writing. So this one are permanently recorded, means is a permanent record that you can access. Okay, books and writing, and then sometimes the leaflet or brochure or handbook or operation manual also can be used as a literature review material. Okay, this part is more on the very technical review paper. Then you can use more of the handbook or user manual specification. All right. So, all right. Then I'll give you some example. For example, these are the textbook that you see when you do some theory review or you want to go back to the fundamental design or fundamental theory or guidelines, then you refer to textbook. But when you do review, most of the time you will refer to journals paper and conference paper. Okay, I will recommend you use you use journal paper instead of textbook. You can use as your baseline if you discuss about some of the basic theory or basic equation, then you can use textbook. But for review paper, most of the time you talk about trend. So there's a change of trend or there's a change of technology, then normally you're referring to journals, right? You can use textbook as your introduction part when you write your review paper. Textbook can be used in the literature review or opening line. When you want to talk about something, textbook can be an opening line in your paragraph, right? So who say or who give this idea? First, who give this idea? So you can use textbook as your starting point to write something. Okay. Another one is a handbook. So for example, you talk about 3D printing, then you can go for the handbook. And for example, one of the group talk about shoes design. So there are some specification on the shoes, and also if you talk about improvement of engine, then there's some data on the operation manual. So all these things that you can refer to. Okay, when you write literature, depends on the scope and subject that you're writing. Okay. So I give you one example. This journal paper published by me. My publication name is A.K. Long. So my full name is Ang Kiang Long, but on Publication World, my name is A.K. Long. Or sometimes I'll use my full name. So this one is one of my publication. So these are the format All right, since most of you are in your FYP2 already, you have seen, I think, at least 100 of journals paper. So basically, you will see title, abstract, title, abstract, and introduction, and then followed by methodology and discussion and conclusion and referencing. So for this review paper, you will have a different structure. However, the main part is still there, okay? And you can refer to the one that I upload in the Teams. You can look that one as your reference, as your guideline when you write your review paper later on, or review report later on, okay? So the main material for this module will be using journals as your reference material, okay? So when you refer to journals, make sure you're seeing something like this, the structure, the paper, something like this. And also there are some name of the publication and the volume and the time, who is the author and all this. So this is the standard format for journals, okay? Something like that, okay? So why we do it is because why we need a literature review, because this is the time, or there's the part that gives summary of your title. It gives you a summary, or you give something to the reader that people want to understand about that topic that you choose. Okay, so that's why we do literature review. And also we try to find the gap. This is when you do engineering, not only engineering, but when you do research, you want to find the gap, you want to find the trend, you want to find the latest technology, or you want to find what is missing behind. Okay, what is missing behind. So when you write your review paper later on, you will find that the paper 10 years ago, they have this gap. And then maybe the paper is in the 2000, and they mention that they have this problem. And then when you come to a paper published in 2010, or maybe last year, 2020, they solve the gap that mentioned in the 10 years or 20 years ago in one of the paper. So you will see the problem faced 10 years ago, 20 years ago, being solved after 10 years or 20 years. So you'll see the story, you'll see the development of that area, okay? So this is why we do literature review. And also we do not repeat solving the same problems, meaning we do not reinvent the wheel, right? You know that the wheel in the round shape is already effective. So you don't need to rewrite or redo the same research anymore, okay? You just need to improve the current topic, current subject. For example, wheel, you know that the round shape is the most efficient shape. What you can do is that you change the material, you change the way the wheel moving and so on, right? So where is this literature review located? Is located inside the main body, especially for review paper, you don't have methodology. Okay, for review paper, you don't have methodology, but for your FYP report, yes, there is a methodology chapter. Okay, but for our module that you need to generate review report, you don't need methodology. Okay, you don't need methodology. The main part of your main body of your review paper is literature review. And then with your comment inside the literature review, result and analysis means your observation and your comment inside the body. Then you give conclusion and referencing. This one is standard. Okay. So where do I find the information? So one of the group presenters now, you use Google Scholar, which is a good source. But later on, for the following weeks, what you do is that you need to access to the latest journals articles. Means you go to Scopus, you go to Science Direct, you go to Best Course, or you go to those active journals database to look for the relevant literature material. And then you can look for the latest edition of books. If you look for the latest topic, for example, autonomous vehicle. They already published a book by IEEE and also some of the publisher out there. So you can look for the textbook, and then from there you try to comment on what you research or what you have read. Okay, so and then these are all the example of database that you can go. But one reminder: don't when you write a review report, don't rely on the source from Wikipedia, right? So if you are a worker from Wikipedia, I apologize, I'm not attacking you, but for review paper, try not to use sources from Wikipedia. You can read from Wikipedia, but don't use material from Wikipedia, okay? Why? It is because the data inside Wikipedia, it can change by anyone. Okay, there's a button of edit inside the website that you can edit and change the data. So maybe if you refer today website, tomorrow you go and see the data might not be there anymore. So that's why we don't choose Wikipedia when you write review report. But you can use that as a normal reading, just to give you some idea. They do do a very good job when it comes to explaining basic concept, but don't cite Wikipedia as your reference material. So this is the interface when you go into a best course, Emirates Publishing, and all this. So there will be a search button for you to click, and you can look for the journals related to your title. Okay, so these are the interface of journal database. Okay, this is a progress, also same. There will be a search button for you to click and sort the thing out. Okay, basically the templates is almost same. Okay, again, just a reminder: do not use Wikipedia as your citation, as your referencing, and also in your report, don't mention Wikipedia in your review report because they are not reliable. Anyone can go there and click edit and change the photo, change the description inside. Okay, again, so you can read, but don't cite in your report. This is just a reminder, because if you cite something, you copy from here, the first area the turning in software go and search for is Wikipedia. So you'll get caught of plagiarism. Okay. So these are the button that you can choose. If you go to Science Direct, these are the search button. You can search, and you can use the and all function, all field, and all this, right? Look for the information. This is the template for Science Direct. Okay. You can identify, use keyword, search key method, and all this. So I think you are familiar with all these functions. So how do I write, or how do I structure my review paper? There are few strategies, but you can choose either one. Okay, the first one, you choose your theme. So you have your title already, you can choose based on your theme. What mean by these themes, right? So first, you can write in a chronological manner. For example, if you write about bicycle, you can write from history, what are the changes that happened since 1980 something to today technology. If you are doing something about bicycle, review something about bicycle technology, then you can write your paper or your report based on history, based on the development in years. Okay, this is one of the way. You can write in chronological way. Second, you can group your review paper based on issues or subtopic or sub-focus, means a focus area. For example, issues, you can group based on several big issues. So if you're doing oil and gas industry, you can discuss something from upstream, midstream, and downstream. So you look at your title, look at your scope, Then you can start designing the way you write your literature review. You can group based on the topic, the process from the beginning until the end. All right, based on issues, based on the area. All right. Now, for example, if you do about football shoes development, you can group them into maybe material, design, or something else, right? So you group based on different section. Another one means you can group them based on theory. If you review on theory, you group them based on the old theory until the new theory. Okay, this is also one part of when you do review paper. But I think at this stage, you can avoid this one. Okay, so this one when you do theory review, then you can use this approach. Huh? Okay. So you can choose your style of writing, right? Then, how do I write? How do I write what I have read? So again, be clear of your theme, be clear of your topic, and try to convince yourself what is the motivation behind this topic. There must be a reason why you go into this topic, and what is the main message you want to tell your reader. What do you want to tell your reader at the end of the when it comes to your conclusion, or when you at the end of the semester, what you try to tell the story. Okay, then this one is you discuss based on literature, and then there's a subheading based on time period or any issue or any theory or any pattern or any development. All right, so any area that can break down. Then when you read the journal paper, normally all the important finding is in the abstract component, means the first line or first paragraph in the journal paper. So you read, find out what is the author find out already, what is the conclusion, what is the finding of the author. So this is how you write it, and then once you read it, then you understand what the author tried to tell, and then you put in your comment. What do you think about this idea, right? Because after you read like 10 paper or 20 paper, you see the trend, and then you can comment. What are the development of the trend now? What are the direction for the past 10 years? What are the what are the scientists trying to solve? Right? Or what are the development, for example? Okay, and then at the end you make judgment whether you're able to see the relationship between the issue, between the, for example, I take the football shoe design. Is there any correlation between the material, between the design of the shoes, or something else? Is there any relationship between the parameter that you choose? Okay. Right. First thing, when you write, just as a side note, remember where you read that paper. When you write something in your report, that paragraph or that line, remember where do you refer to, right? Or who said that before, or that theory, who said that before, or that design, or that photo that you put in your review. On which paper that published that photo. If you talk about trend, who take the photo? For example, you talk about football shoes. When you present that photo, who take that photo? Is there any copyright or any disclaimer that you need to put? So because some photo they are free to use, some photo you need to put a citation there. Okay, so remember the source that you read. Okay, don't read and then throw away, right? So always have a archive or a place for you to park review paper. For example, this one. So for example, I cite my paper. So I have my author name, years, titles, the publication, volume, issues, and the DOI number. So I have all this on hand before I write my review paper. At least I know the source that I have. Okay, I give you the idea lah. So this is the paper that I published. So how do I cite? How do I keep the source of that? So again, if you come with a code, but normally in engineering we don't use code. But if you are study about management, then most of the time you need to use code. So code means code and uncode. Then you mention who say that in what books. Again, this point number 2 doesn't apply much in engineering. Okay, but it will apply a lot in those doing literature, right? The third one, yeah, don't plagiarize, means we will use the Turnitin tools to help us, right? So this tool is very powerful. You're able to tell which website you cite, which textbook you cite, even your friend's thesis, which line, which paragraph. You can check until that detail. Huh? So again, I already give you some hints how to avoid being detected. Okay, so use that strategy. Give you some sample that during my teaching years, I come across this plagiarism sample. So I just screenshot and I remove the name. I remove the name of the student. So as you can compare side by side, actually they look the same. They look different, but actually they are the same thing. So student A submit this one on the platform. So I submit this paper to Turnitin. It come up to be, let me see, I forget the index already. This one is 34%. Okay, this one is 34%. And then later, maybe 1 hour later, student B upload the same document to me. So I also send this paper to Turnitin. And the Turnitin check, the plagiarism number goes up. From origin 1 and 2, student A and B. Student A, I check, I get 34. Student B, I get 36. And then I click inside the detail of Turnitin report. It will show me all the same wording and same paragraph that copy and paste. So basically, I caught these two students. I put side by side their work. I can see actually both of them, they are sharing the same material. And actually, after I find out, I interview these two students, actually, what happening at the background is student A, he copy student B homework and without telling student B. So, but student A very smart, he submit earlier than student B. So initially, when I check the work, I have a first impression that actually student B copy student A, but when I find out, actually is the story is not that. The story is student A copy student B work without telling student B, and student A go and submit first. So, but anyway, how I solve this problem? Since both more than 20%, okay, more than 20%, I ask two students to resubmit the homework or the assignment. Okay, so I will do the same. I will apply the same in our class. If you're turning in more than 20%, the number here more than 20%, I will ask you to resubmit. I give you 3 days grace period. After I tell you to resubmit, I give you 3 days. 3 days grace period to resubmit your report. After 3 days, if I do not receive your report, I will give you 0 marks. And I put your report, plagiarism issue, recommend to retake this module. Okay, So I take it seriously on a copy and paste issues. So don't get caught of this plagiarism issue. Okay, so I will teach you how to avoid this one. You use it. Okay, you use it. Okay, so this end of my briefing. Let me end the recording. Okay, I hope